now we can move on to kind of 21 and 20. They got the Toronto Raptors and the Memphis Grizzlies. My friend Sean's former team, the Memphis Grizzlies. 21 for the Raptors. It makes sense. You know, they're kind of like in this rebuild. They're kind of like in this weird situation right now. They obviously overpaid for Van Vliet. You know, they got Pascal Siakam, who kind of struggled this past offseason. In terms of like, you know, or sorry, not off season, but regular season, you know, we didn't know what Pascal we were going to get. OG Anunoby was another player that kind of struggled as well. And I just feel like they're a team that's going to be good because Nick Nurse is the coach, but they're also going to feel like going to be a struggle to see if they're going to move on to like playoff picture or anything like that. I just feel like they're just not good enough at this point to be in the playoff picture.
I think they could be just because, they still have a lot of guys that are very good role players, such as, Siakam's coming back. And then they also
Mm-hmm.
have OG Anunoby, who was very good for them. I think it was the, 2019 bubble season
Mm-hmm.
when he shot that three in the corner and saved him. But he was getting 12 points consistently off the bench. And now his role is going to get bigger with Kawhi gone and obviously Kyle Lowry. I wouldn't be shocked if they shock a lot of people, man. Like, I wouldn't be shocked if they're a third or
Yeah.
fourth seed.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they can get that high. I think they're still
Because
in like
one
a
thing about
rebuild.
the Raptors, man, they always have that, like, oh, you think they're going to rebuild, like, and then they'll win 50, 55, 50, 50, 50 to 55 games, like, out of nowhere, like,
Yeah,
I
but
don't
I
know.
mean, I think we've also got to remember that they're without Kawhi now. You know, they don't. You know, OG has taken a step back. I'm not saying he's going to be like always taking a step back or like he's never going to be good, but I just don't think that he's really at this point in the right. I think he's not. You know, maybe like a third option on a team. And I just think that they overpaid for Van Vliet.
I mean, like, Van Fleet, though, was a good player. He was getting, 20 points a game? I mean, he's going to be the main guy now, so he's going to probably bump up to damn near 25 points a game.
Yeah,
So yeah, I think they had no choice. I mean, what
yeah,
guys are really going to go to Toronto? I was shocked Kawhi even went.
yeah. And then 20, obviously they have the Memphis Grizzlies again, a team that I'm curious to see what they do for their future. I think that they now have Zaire Williams. I think that's who they got in this draft, I believe. Um, Actually, did they get Zaire or did he go? Yeah, he did. They did get Zaire. They got Zaire Williams, who we can see if he can fit with John Morant and Jaren Jackson. I want to see a healthy Jaren Jackson season and see what he can kind of become because I feel like, um, I kind of compared Evan Mobley to Jaren Jackson in terms of like similar body type, similar kind of like play style. Obviously, Evan Mobley a little bit more defensively better than Jaren Jackson, but I'm curious to see how the Memphis Grizzlies do this season.
I'm very bullish on Jaren Jackson, man. I wanted the Celtics to take him in 2017.
Wow, you wanted him
Yeah.
over Tatum?
Well,
Like when like obviously we know what Tatum is now, but like when that
yeah.
draft
When
happened,
I didn't know what Tatum was, but man, I was very high on Jaren Jackson Jr. Like,
actually,
even last year or this year they recently played when he came back from his injury, he was putting up like 17 a game. So he's talented, man. Like, he's gonna take that next step for them. And now they got rid of Valentunas, I think, right? He's gone.
yep. And now it's
So
Zaire
Jaren
Williams, and
Jackson, that's his guy. That's his role now. So I think he can average 18 to 19 points a game with 10 boards if he stays healthy. I think 20's right.
yeah. So we'll see what happens there. And as we kind of look now to 19 and 18, they have the Wizards and the
Oh, I don't agree
Pacers.
with that.
You think? What do you think? Higher, lower?
The Wizards at 19? How? Who do they have
Think-
besides Bradley Beal?
I mean, they got a bunch of young core. I mean, they got Rui Hachimura, who's I think developing a little bit more, and I think you could potentially see him kind of be something in the league. Um, uh,
Honestly, though, like, them ahead of the Grizzlies.
I just think I mean, they play in the East as well, so you got to remember that too. I mean, this isn't taking into account like conferences or anything like that. Um, but I do think that the Wizards are a team that you could potentially, I could see them, make sneaking in the playoffs just because of how bad the East is in the bottom half of it.
I don't know about the playoffs. I mean, if they barely made it with Russell Westbrook and they had to play a playing game. I mean, the East is really buffed up, man. Like it's not as like soft as it was. I mean, you just had the Bucks win the championship, and then you got Brooklyn now. You got us still who can be a threat. Let's see how we look. You still have Miami who just got Kyle Lowry. You still have the Bulls who just got
Mm-hmm.
stronger. So hey, it's gonna be the East is people keep sleeping on the East.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens with that. I'm kind of in this boat of like, I
The
think the Wiz.
Pacers.
Well, the Pacers, I'm not. I think they have Sabonis and they have Malcolm Brogdon. I mean, they have some players. T.J. Warren. Obviously he's not bubble T.J. Warren like a lot of people
But
predicted
they
him
got
to
Rick
be.
Carlisle though.
I mean, they got Rick Carlisle, but again, I'm not like a huge like Carlisle fan. I think that he should have done better with that Mavs roster, and like they should have got. Like, I'm not saying that Mavs roster was anything special, but they should have definitely done something with that. Um,
Well, I mean, too, you got to remember they were in Dallas, so it's like a lot of guys aren't going to want to go to Dallas. I mean,
yeah,
he won a championship. I mean, even though they had Dirk, but still they won a championship. So I think with his experience, they're gonna. He's. I think the Pacers could be. They could be a. I don't know. It's gonna be between them and the Bulls at that fifth spot, but they're gonna be pretty solid.
yeah. So I mean, we'll see. We'll see about that. Again, like I said, I'm not really high on these two teams. I don't think that they're teams. I'm like, yes, they're gonna make the playoffs or be close. I mean, they'll probably be in that playing game. They'll be battling for it, but I think ultimately these two teams will be going packing home.
Yeah,
Um,
I agree.
17 and 16, we got the Portland Trailblazers and the Charlotte Hornets. They call this one Rising Talent, Some Struggles. So they got here for the Charlotte Hornets. We absolutely love the Hornets being able to do this past offseason. After losing in the play-in tournament, selecting James Bouknight, pairing up with the reigning rookie year, LaMelo Ball was a steal. This is a darn good core group that has also included forwards Miles Bridges, Gordon Hayward, and PJ Washington, who has a lot of baby mama issues. The Hornets were able to pick up free agent Ish Smith and Kelly Oubre. Watch out for the Hornets 2021-22. Meanwhile, what they say about Portland is like, ouch, Portland seemed destined to take out of the injury plagued Denver Nuggets in the first round. In no way did that come to fruition, with the Denver Nuggets winning the Northwest in Game 6 to send the Blazers packing in the first round for the fourth time in 5 years. Head coach Terry Stotts was fired. CJ McCollum could be traded. Dame Lillard might not be long in the Pacific Northwest despite running it back this coming season. Yeah, it's not going to be swimmingly for the Blazers after a year of premature playoff exits. And both these teams, like, I think the Charlotte Hornets are placed perfectly where they're at. And I feel like Portland. We'll have to look at the rest of the teams because I haven't looked at this, so it's kind of a surprise. But I just feel like it's a little too low for the Blazers to be this low. Like I understand, Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum fell short in this playoff series, and I've kind of said for the last 4 to 5 years that this team should have been broken up at some point. They should have traded away CJ McCollum or trade away something to get Dame some help, or at least trade one of them and see like what which guy do you like more? Because I feel like they're sort of in the situation right now where I'm just not a huge believer in the Portland Trailblazers, but that doesn't mean that I think that they should be ranked 16th. I still think that they'll be good enough to make it to the playoffs, and I think that this will be the year where they break that curse, and I think they'll win out of the first round.
Yeah, that certainly could happen. I mean, they can certainly break out of the first round. They have enough talent, but like I agree, they should have been traded C.J. McCollum. Um, we'll see how they look though, man, because they got Chauncey Billups now. So let's see how he coaches them up and
Mm-hmm.
how he can transition the team. But we're gonna have to see.
And then
We're gonna
at
have to see.
15 and 14, we got the Knicks and we got the Clippers. Clippers at 14 is very low for them. I think that this is also low. I mean, I understand like, they lost. I mean, they made a surprising run. I mean, they beat the Utah Jazz, number one seed, so you got to give them credit for that. Um, Knicks, I think it's a little, too high. I know my boy Pete will be kind of on my butt for that one. But I just think that this roster right now that they have is just not anything where I'm like, wow, this roster could be like a potentially like sleeper in the draft in the playoffs.
Well, I think no, they can be a sleeper because they got Kimba and they have Evan Fournier now. I know they're not like big superstars, but both guys can get you 20. So that's 40 right there.
Kemba can't get you 20 anymore, man. We saw what Kemba did for
I'm not.
us.
I'm not saying Kimba can get you. Who knows? He's back at home. He's in front of the Garden. Like, who knows? Like the Garden is probably the most electrified spot in the NBA when it's good. Like it's worse probably than Golden State when it was going. Like you see you seen how they were this year.
I feel like it's going to be
Uh,
another year of just napping at the Garden.
I honestly disagree. I think they can be pretty good, man. Like with Kemba, with Julius, with Evan, with what's his name? What's his
RJ?
name? The guy who was RJ Barrett. They resigned what's his name? Damn, what's his name, man?
Nerlens Noel,
No, not yeah. They got Nerlens Noel.
Evan
The other
Fournier.
guy though who can shoot though?
Evan
Oh man,
Fournier?
what's his? No. He had like man, I know his name. I just
Alec
can't think
Burks?
of it. Yeah, Alex Burks. So I think they can be a 7 seed.
Yeah, I mean, I think they'll make the playoffs, but they're not like a team where I'm like, D Rose also on that team. They're not a team where I'm like, this team could potentially like upset the number 1 seed if they're an 8 seed, or they can potentially
No, they
number.
could.
I just don't see it, man. I really don't see it. Like I think
They have a
they're
they have a higher chance than us. So I mean, like if you think about it, like they did very well, man. Like against the Hawks. I mean, the Hawks were pretty stacked. I mean, they have veteran guys mixed with young guys who are talented. Uh, I think the Knicks with Kimba, a point guard who can drive to the paint and draw some attraction off of what's his name, Julius Randle. Then you got Evan Fournier who could come off the bench and drop 30 right in your
mhm.
face. Like they could be dangerous. I mean, if you sleep on them, they could damn near just go on a run and close the gap and damn near blow you out because they got guys who can get boards. They got guys who can score. I mean,
Mhm.
they really don't have any flaws from what I'm seeing on paper right now.
They'll coach the hell. Oh, so Justin said they'll coach the hell out of the first, maybe the second round, but that's about it. Yeah, I just think they're going to be a first round exit team. Like if anything, they're going to get into the playoffs. They're going to have their time in the light. Knicks fans are going to go crazy in the Garden, and then once they get swept or they get a 1 game win or a 1 game.
I don't think they're gonna get swept, man. They got Kemba Walker. I mean, Kemba Walker's
Man,
not like
you
a
were you were like absolutely slandering that man,
I
lads, and
know,
now
I
you're like
know,
praising
I
him. Come
know.
on, man. What's going
No,
on?
I'm not.
Be a
I'm
man of
not
your
defending.
conviction. You slandered him, and now
Oh
you're
man,
defending him. What's going on, man? What's going
I'm
on?
I'm not defending him. I'm just saying like he's not a scrub, man. Like yeah, I didn't work out in Boston, but you got to remember he's from New York. He's gonna have family there. He's never probably seen in years. So I, I just think they could be very dangerous. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying yeah they're gonna go to the finals or Eastern Conference. I'm just saying you know they they could get to the out of the second round.
Yeah, well, we'll see there. What do you think of the Clippers at 14? You think that's too low for them?
Yeah, that's really low. Man, they're getting Kawhi, but then again, I don't know because
I mean, let's think about the teams that we haven't seen yet so far. The Boston Celtics we haven't seen. Warriors. We haven't seen obviously Lakers, Nets, Bucks. We haven't seen like those type of teams. And I just, as much as it pains me to like be in the Jazz, even. I'm not saying just because you beat
yeah,
the Jazz last year that automatically catapults you to like above them. But I will say is that I think that. I think we kind of overlooked Paul George's like games, and I'm guilty of doing this as well. As we kind of made fun of it because of Pandemic P and some of the games that he had. But they honestly, at the end of the day, they were very close to being in the conference final, or sorry, in the NBA final even. Like that. That's how close it was.
yeah, yeah. They did very well, but then again, like again with this ranking, I see where they're going with it just because I think the Clippers did better without Kawhi personally. It was more ball.
Low ball movement. Oh, I'm not sure if we lost you. I think we lost you, Tyrese. So whenever you're back,
Okay.
oh no,
Hold
there
on.
you go. There you go.
Okay. Yeah, I think they just had way more ball movement. Um, something they didn't really have with Kawhi was there was more like my turn, your turn, with Kawhi and Paul George. So I can see where that ranking comes into play at 14 because it's gonna be that, it's not gonna be, spreading the ball around how they were. It's gonna be
Mm-hmm.
Kawhi and PG's turn. But
Yeah.
I think that's honestly that's kind of high though.
You
But
think
then
it's
again,
high? Wow.
yeah, that's kind of high,
So
man. Like,
you think the
they,
Knicks should be above the Clippers right now? Is what you're telling me.
oh no, hell no.
That I mean,
No.
look, the way that you said they're too high. I mean, teams, the Knicks, the Hornets, I mean, the Blazers probably should be up there, but I mean, Charlotte
I mean,
Hornets.
I meant. Excuse me. I meant they're too low. I meant they're too
Okay,
low.
okay.
Yeah,
I'll we're gonna have
yeah.
some conversations here, man. We're gonna have some conversations.
No. I meant they're too low. They should be probably like at 8 or 9.